Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like them please. This is a video on the National League transfers of 2026 to 2027. There's been loads of clubs who have done their transfers already. Of course, the teams who haven't is Tamworth, of course, because we've been busy with the takeover, so hopefully transfers come quick now as we have been taken over. Wellstone haven't made any signings, same as Gateshead, and there's probably been some more, but let's get into it. So we start off with AFC Fylde. Of course, they're back in the National League, and they have only made one signing on a free transfer, signing Cedric Main from Darlington. Is that a great signing? Of course, some people probably know better than him, who's been in that league. He's an okay signing when I've seen him at Darlington. But I think Fylde need a bit more transfers. I say it's still early, but we are on the 22nd of June and pre-season for these clubs will be starting soon. July is next week, so pre-season will be starting fast. So yeah, Fylde need more players. With the players going out though, they of course they have got rid of Charlie Jolly, who was released, Liam Brookbank, who was released, Kieran Coates, who was released, Jesse Howard, who was released, Luke Hunter, he went to Workington, Lincoln McGowan went to Macclesfield, Tedder O'Kane went to Morecambe, and George Wilson went to Macclesfield. So yeah, quite a lot what they've got rid of, so they need some signings if they want to stay in this league. Go to Aldershot then, and they have signed quite a lot. They've signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 players Aldershot have signed. They've signed quite a lot of players. They've signed John Gilbert from Maidstone, Nito Adam from Enfield, Kiki from Slough, Dominic Ottenor from Chelmsford City. They signed Frimpong from Worthing, Mitchie from Yeovil, Jacob Buckis from Reading, Michael Sickland from Reading, Basil Terms from Reading, Marcus from Gillingham, Hackman from Farnborough, Nick Haynes from Hartlepool. I think that's a really good signing. I think he's quality. Jack Matton from Wickham, Charlie Patmore from Bedford, and Marcus Dingle from Bromley Rock. I think that's a great signing. So Aldershot have signed quite a lot of players, 15 players already. They might not all work together. Of course, you can say, oh, Aldershot, because they've signed 15 players, they're going to have a wonderful season. It's not all that though. Players, if you sign loads of players, they might not work together. So yeah, I think signing 15 players, fair play to them. But yeah, with the players going out for them, a lot of players have gone. I think there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 players who have left Aldershot as well. So they've signed 15 players and got rid of 20 players. That's a big turnaround from Aldershot Town. Cause they got rid of Bossard Clark, Hardy Gummer, a couple of them players in that team. But yeah, let me move on then to Alty. They haven't signed anyone yet, but the players who have gone out, I think they've got rid of 7 players. getting rid of Lewis Baines. He went to Morecambe. Billy Cess got released. Lucas Edwards got released. Sam Reed went to Chester. Yasin Tory was released. Isaac Marriott went to Barrow, and Ollie Cranshaw went to Barrow as well. So that's the players. Let me move on to Barrow then. They've signed a couple of good players. I think they have signed 8 players. So let's get trained to this. They signed Alex Reid from Hartlepool. I think that's an absolutely great signing. I like Alex Reid. I think he's a quality player. I would have took him at Tamworth. Yeah, I think he's a quality player. They signed George Walker from Kiddie. Mitchell Ockey from Peterborough Sports. Danny Amos from Grimsby Town. Shaffer Benjamin from Enfield. Kenny Diggy from Tamworth. I didn't even know Kenny Diggy left, to be fair, but that's yeah, I didn't even know that. Isaac Marriott went to Alty, and Ollie Cranshaw went to Alty, and so that's the signing for Alty. Sorry. The players they got rid of, they got Neil Crampton was released, Angus was released, Sam Foley was released, Connor was released, Tyler Walker was released, Kane Hammonds was released. I'll take him at Tamworth. I think he's a quality player. Isaac Fletcher went to Shrewsbury. Elliot Newby went to Morecambe. And Charlie McCann went to Cheltenham Town. Move on to Bournemouth then, of course. No incomings for them, but the players they have got rid of was Nathan Ashmore went to Dagenham, Cameron Cutts went to Morecambe, and the next 4 was released. Jack Payne was released, Eric Hall was released, Joe Newton was released, and Charles Clayton was released. I think Bournemouth need to make a couple of signings if they want to be in the mix again like last season, but their season did finish late because they got to the player final. So yeah. Move on to Boston then. The only signing they made was they've signed one, and that was Gaffin Holland from Hartlepool. I think that's a really good signing, but then again, Boston, if they don't sign anyone else, they maybe struggle. So yeah, they need to sign some more. Players going out was big players. Lucas Bradgington was released. Matty Carson went to Solihull Moors. Michael Lennon was released. Liam McCannon was released. Zach Mills, who I think is an absolute cracking player, went to Kings Lynn Town. Manny Norkit was released. Greg Slottish was released. Jacob Hazel went to Chester. Frankie Maguire went to York City. And Jordan Richards went to Scunthorpe United. Move on to Carlisle, then they have only made one signing, and they signed Miguel Assis from Morecambe, what I think is a really good player. They have got rid of loads of players. I think most of their players was released. Jay Callum was released. Archie Davis went to Yeovil. Josh Grant was released. Aaron Hayden was released. Sam Hickman was released. And their other players was released. So they sold loads of players. Easily, they haven't signed anyone, but got rid of quite a couple of players. Richard Brindley was released. Elf Song was released. Lord Humphreys was released. Niall Mayer was released. Paul McCallum went to Haffant and Walthall. Josh McCann was released. Jake Forkes went to Ebbsfleet. Angus was released, and Sam Pearson went to Merv. So Halifax, then, they have signed the only one player, and that was actually from Sheffield Wednesday, Mackenzie Maffey. Don't really know much about him, so I'm guessing he played for the youngsters, like Sheffield Wednesday and whatever. But yeah, I think I'm guessing that's a good signing. But a couple of players released then. Hottie was released. Zach Emerson went to Leek. Jack Jenkins was released. Nat Ford was released. Sean Tesney was released. Tom Purr went to Spalding. Max Wright was released. Joe Cummings went to Matlock Town. Jeffin Mills was released. Will Smith, who I think was one of Halifax's best players last season, went to Morecambe. Jamie Cookie went to Headsford, and Adam Ashton went to was released. Forest Green, then, they've signed 3 players and got rid of some big players, to be fair, but we'll come on to that. The players they've signed is Kyle Hage, he signed from Hampstead. Brian Idjar, he came from Coston Athletic, and Oliver Ewing came from Scunthorpe United, who I think was one of Scunthorpe's best midfielders. I know Scunthorpe fans are going mad and saying they shouldn't have sold him, but yeah, the players they got rid of is Sean Long, Ryan Nimes, Dodge, Liam Scummer, Harvey Bunker, Tom Knowles, who I'm surprised he was released, Harry Cardwell, who went to Southend, Keenan Sonny, Terry Body, who went to Sutton, and Jordan Moore, who went to Sutton. Move on to Gateshead, then they signed no players yet, but they have sold, they did sell a couple of players. I think 5 of their players was released. One actually came up with retirement, and one actually went to somewhere. So Matt Smithborn was released, Carter Milmore was released, Connor Panny was released, George Sheffy was released, Ollie Thompson was released, Will McGaughan went to Harrogate, and Louis Storley, who retired. So yeah, move on to Harrogate, then they have signed 4 players. Bailey Hobson, who came from Chesterfield, Will McGaughan, who came from Gateshead, Kieran McCann came from Rotherham, and Morgan Williams came from Kings Lynn. Been good business there, but I think they need to do a couple more if they want to be in the title race. I think Harrogate will get playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be in a title race next year. They've just came down from League 2, so I think it's going to be hard to go straight back up. The players they actually got rid of is Liam Gibson, who was released, Marcus Efron, who was released, Siko Asa, who went to Worthing, Aidan Marsh, who went to Spennymoor, Leffy Sutton, who was released, Conor McGann, who was released, Stephen Duke, he went to Crawley, and Sam Weller was released. Move on to Hartlepool, then, who have signed 4 players. I like Hartlepool business. They have sold probably a couple of good players, but the business they've made, I'm really happy with it. With how Hartlepool, I think they could be one of the team dark horses next season. Jordan Hugo, who came from Rotherham, what a player he is. Jack Nolan, who came from Morecambe, again, great player. Brookie Hungy came from Bromley, and Corey McCorn came from Spennymoor. Good business there. They've sold quite a lot. The players who they've sold to teams, I'll just say that, because Matty Daly went to Morecambe. Sam Foley went to Sutton. Nick Haynes went to Aldershot. Gavin Hobson went to Boston. Alex Reid went to Barrow. And Lewis Stephens went to Spennymoor. Move on to Hull Church, then their first season in the National League. They've signed 3 players, what, you know, I think they'll sign more if they want to stay in this league. They've signed Joe Kissy from Barnet, who should have got Player of the Year when Barnet won the National League. Marky Welsh came from Leyton Orient, and Tom Dallas came from Ebbsfleet. Some good signs there. The players who they've sold, they've probably got rid of 6 players, but 5 of them was released. The only one who went to a team was Josh Rees, who went to Eastbourne Borough. Move on to Kiddington, who have signed 5 players. Callum Dolan from Torquay, Ben Cropton from Ross County, really good signing that. He was at Tamworth, of course, very good for Tamworth. He came from Sunderland to Tamworth, really good for Tamworth. Then he went to Scotland to Ross County, and now he has signed for a National League side kiddie who will be facing Tamworth this season. They've signed Max Brogan from Scunthorpe, who also was at Tamworth for a season. They've signed Lewis Walker from Braintree and Zach Brown from Brackley, who I thought was a very good player for Brackley. Couple of players released. The only players who have went to a club was George Walker. He went to Barrow, and Kristen Dibby went to Macclesfield. Move on to Scunthorpe then, who have signed 3 players, signing Luke Brennan from Buxton, Jordan Richards from Boston, and Callum Howe from York City. I think that's a great signing in Callum Howe. Of course, York won the league last season, so they'll be in League 2 next season. Callum Howe was one of their best players, so I'm surprised York didn't hold on to him. But yeah, I think Callum Howe is a very good player, incredible, and yeah, the players they got rid of, a couple of released here, but actually I think that only one release. The players who went to a club was Andrew Buzz went to Workstop, Kieran Scholes went to Buxton, Mark Beck went to Darlington, Max Brogan, of course, went to Kiddie. Callum Roberts went to Notts County, who I thought was their best player last season. So you knew if Scunthorpe did stay down, he was going to go to a club. And Oliver Ewing went to Forest Green. Move on to Solihull Morstan. Of course, they've signed 3 players. Signing Matty Carson from Boston, Justin Hanks from Nottingham Forest, and Joe Sibber from Doncaster. Some good signings there. The players who have went to a club, of course, they've sold a couple of players. Most of them was released. The 2 players who have actually went to a club was Kyle Morsley. He went to Chasetown, and Lauren Walker went to Bedford. Move on to Southend, then they've signed 4 players. Signed Harry Codwell from Forest Green, Josh Pontler from Mainsted United, Darren Hockey from Swindon, and Anthony Harrigan from Barnet. Some good signings there. The players they got rid of was Kath Marley, who went to Chelmsford, George Wind went to Billy Rickey, Nathan Ralph went to Chelmsford, Joe Gubbin went to Yeovil, Noah Husson went to Worthing, Scott Morris went to Oldham. I didn't know he went to a club, but he has. I would have took him at Tamworth. I think he's a right back, and he scored 15 goals from right back last season for Southend. Unreal. Jack Bridge from he went to Chelmsford, and Kennan went to Oldham. Move on to Sutton then, who I think have had a really good summer so far, signing 6 players. Signing Charlie Carter from Dorking. I know he was linked with Tam, well, not linked with Tam, but every Tamworth fan was saying, like, we should get Charlie Carter, and we found out today, well, the other week, that he went to Sutton, a team who's in Tamworth League. So yeah, Emnor Oki went to Barnet, came from Barnet. Temi Badro came from Forest Green. Jordan Moore came from Forest Green. Will Nicon came from Aldershot, and Sam Fordine came from Hartlepool. Some good business there. The players, they've got rid of loads of players. Of course, loads of players was released. Kane, of course, went to Dagenham. There's a couple of big players. Tamworth then, of course, signed no one yet because we have been busy with the takeover, but hopefully the signings come fast. Apparently we're signing loads of players this week. I don't know what days it will be. But yeah, the players who we have got rid of is Jordan Pochinelli, who went to Well Bedford on a free transfer. Callum Cocker-Mullet went to Leamington on a free transfer. Matt Curley went to Telford on a free transfer, and Kenny Diggy went to Barrow on a free transfer. So that's the players who we got rid of. Wellstone, of course, they've signed no one, but they've got rid of 2 players in Enzo Baldry, went to Bath City, and of course Musa was released. Woking then, they've signed 5 players, signing Liam Dussin from Mainshead. Josh Harris came from Rotherham. Harrison Saul came from Hereford. Sickle came from Harrogate, and Ashley Clark came from Bournemouth. They got rid of a couple of players, of course. Jack Turner went to Ross County. Harry Bunny went to Dagenham as well. Move on to Worthing then. They've signed 2 players in Noor Hussin from Southend United, and Tikri Clark, who came from Slough. They got rid of a couple of players, but not really many players. Yeovil have had a really good summer. Of course, they got taken over like Tamworth as well, but they of course got a takeover a couple of weeks ago, so of course they're going to sign loads of players. They signed Sakaresko from Doncaster. Mason Oki came from Walton. Josh Powell came from Walton. Stephen Walker came from Scarborough. Archie Davis came from Carlisle. Joe Baker came from Walton. Joe Gibbons came from Southend. Hayden Muller came from Sutton. Jack Ningen came from Cardiff. And Jordan Williams came from Dorking. Got rid of a couple of players as well. So yeah, there you go, guys. There's my National League transfers. If Tamworth do sign anyone or anything, I will of course do a video on that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.